Welcome to the More Than Fitness podcast.
And welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Minisode number 132. We've got a good one today, folks. I don't know what inspired me to create this Minisode, but I think it's going to be one that you're going to get a little chuckle out of. Maybe you'll learn a thing or two, and maybe if you do any of these, you'll become slightly less of a douchebag by the end of it. And you know, I say that with love. All right. Since I've got quite a few here, I want to go ahead and jump right into things. So 8 things to immediately stop doing at the gym. Number 1, please, for the love of God, stop standing in front of the dumbbell rack whenever you're doing anything, and especially dumbbell side laterals, right? So lateral raises, whenever you lift your arms out to the side and take up a lot of space, and whenever you're in front of the dumbbell rack, if you're doing that, you're withholding a lot of dumbbells from other people. And so all you do, figure out which dumbbells you want to use. It's totally fine. Figure out which dumbbells, grab the dumbbells, and then move backwards, right? Just take a couple steps back, make sure that anybody or whatever exercise it is that you're doing, be considerate that there's enough space between you and the dumbbell rack for other people to comfortably get in front of you and get the dumbbells that they need for their workout, right? It's just being considerate. That's all you're doing here, right? So stop standing in front of the dumbbell rack. So just take a couple steps back and you'll be good to go, right? Especially if you're things like lateral raises and also like front raises as well. So front delt raises where you're literally reaching in front of you. Don't stand so close to the dumbbell rack. Like don't take just 2 steps back and then do front raises, because then you're still basically standing in front of the rack. You see what I'm saying? So instead of doing that, take some steps back and be considerate to the people around you. Okay? All right, that's number 1. Number 2 is going to be stop maxing out every week. This one's not as much gym etiquette as it is just intelligent programming. I think that this often happens, this often happens with younger guys in particular. But I've also seen, definitely dudes in their 20s and 30s and up do this as well. But the main thing is that you're not doing it for any other reason besides your ego. And I think that for other people or for the people who typically do this, they're in groups. So they're with a bunch of training partners and things, and they have their squad, they have their crew, and they want to always go in there and beat each other, I guess. And the way that you do that apparently is by maxing out. And so, for most people, I can't tell you the last time that I maxed out. And that's not to say that there's never any case for maxing out, just because I don't do it. But I'm saying that in terms of building muscle optimally, maxing out is probably not something that you should be doing often. Definitely, maybe once every 12 weeks. And even then, I would, if I'm building muscle, I'll just go ahead and put it out there. I would never, from this point forward, I will never do a 1 rep max. Now, if you want to do something more like a 3 to 5 rep max, this is what I would recommend for my strength-based clients, or just my clients who really like getting after it in the gym. They really like the main compound lifts. They like pushing themselves, going heavy, all that type of hardcore shit. That's fine. That's totally okay. But you're going to be much safer if you do a 3 to 5 rep max as opposed to a 1 rep max. 1 rep max, the lower you go, the more increased chance of injury that you have. But whenever you do something like a 3 to 5 rep max, or you have something like an AMRAP set where you do, let's say 70 to 80% of your 1 rep max, and then you just try to do that as many reps as you can, right? So as many reps as possible. And so for that, I have my clients do that maybe every 12 weeks or so. So every 3 months, we like to test our strength out a little bit, but it's not like a weekly thing. And we're also not doing a 1 rep max. It's just, there's literally no other reason for you to do that besides your ego. If you're saying, oh, it's to build strength, well, then you can still absolutely build strength by doing 3 to 5 reps instead of one rep, and you'll also lower your chance of injury. All right, so that's number 2. Number 3, doing cardio between sets. I get the gist here of what people are trying to do, right? They're trying to, I think they could be trying to do a few things. One, they could be trying to get the most out of their workout. So they're doing a set of lifting, and then after that, during the rest periods, they're doing, jumping jacks. Can't talk. Jumping jacks or step ups or something basic, right? And they're trying to fill that void so that they can get in as much as possible. I also think that people think that it's going to burn a lot of extra calories. And so they're literally doing their lifts, and then they're doing this cardio and then doing their lifts, and they just look like a sweaty, miserable mess. And I think that you should stop doing that, because you're not burning hardly any calories at all. And actually all you're doing is making your lifting sets very suboptimal. So you're not even building muscle the best you possibly can either. And so I've said this multiple times. So what you're actually doing is having very mediocre results in both directions, in terms of building muscle and in burning fat. You could burn fat much better if you just saved the cardio for, let's say, like the end of the workout, or you just did it in the beginning of the workout separate from lifting, but you focused on the cardio at one point and then lifting at the other point. In between whenever you have rest periods for lifting's sake and to build the most muscle possible, you want to rest. That's the point of resting. It's so that you don't get tired and so that you can perform your best on the next set. Okay, got that clear. Number 4, this one's going back to the gym etiquette, and this is going to be being obnoxious. And looking back at my younger years, whenever I was really, really into lifting and was very much part of the Animal Pack. And if you don't know what that is, look up Animal Pack and that type of supplement business and just their branding and everything. I was very hardcore, at least I thought I was hardcore, but I was just doing, deadlifts with chalk, and that's not very hardcore when you actually think about it. So being, and what I would do is I would be really loud. I would slam the weights. I would just be, and given, I was like 18, 19, 20-year-old kid, I would just be really obnoxious and just throw, like, whenever I get done with a set, I'd like throw my belt, or I'd slam the weights in between sets. I'd get really hyped up. I'd be talking really loud to my buddy. And I get it. Like, you want to be excited with your crew. And if you're lifting with people, you want to get excited, and that's part of the fun. But you also have to remember that there's other people in the gym around you that are also trying to get in a workout that aren't part of your crew. So you need to be considerate of those people. And hopefully in a few years, you'll look back at yourself and be like, wow, I was a jackass for doing that. Or like playing your music out loud. I used to do that shit too. I can't believe I did that shit. I would be in the squat rack. I'd be playing some hardcore. It'd either be like heavy metal or some type of gangster rap. Gangster rap, very white. And I would just be obnoxious. And it was just, it was because lifting was a big part of my identity. I thought it was cool. But actually what it was immature, it was obnoxious, and it was rude to other people. So stop doing that if you do that. All right. Number 5 comes down to sweating. If you sweat a lot, if you sweat all over a machine or dumbbells or the bench or whatever, please wipe it down after you get done. Nobody wants to nobody wants to clean up your mess or also lay in your puddle of sweat whenever they're about to do a bench press. And so this goes twofold. So if you sweat a lot, wipe down the machine afterwards. And then 2, if you're also somebody, maybe you don't sweat a lot, or maybe you do, either way, but you wipe down the machine and there's a lot of soap all over it, and it's like sogging wet on the bench, and it's going to take several minutes to dry. Well, just get another paper towel or whatever and wipe it down, or even use a dry part of your shirt if there's nothing else, right? It's just like the same thing. I mean, given I would rather lay in a soapy mess as opposed to someone's sweat. But either way, if the bench is still really, really wet by the time that you get up, just wipe it down. it's these small things that add up, and it's just makes you a better person in the gym and makes you a better person in general, right? So just be mindful of the condensation levels of the stuff that you use. All right. Okay. Number 6, doing 2 machines at once. So hogging machines, basically. Let's say you're doing the leg extensions and the leg curl, right? And you're going back and forth between them. And it's even worse if they're further apart. For the most part, the general rule is to never do 2 machines at one time, unless it's basically not crowded at all. Of course, if there's no one in the gym, if nobody's using it, nobody's going to be using it, it's just a very casual day at the gym, by all means, go for it. However, be mindful, be aware that if it's a very crowded gym and you're taking up 2 machines and you also see some man or lady walking around glancing at you every once in a while, it's probably because they want to use the machines that you're hogging up, right? And so my rule is to never pair 2 machines together, but instead figure out exercises where you can take a pair of dumbbells over to the machine. 1 pair of dumbbells, not a bunch. 1 pair of dumbbells to the machine. That way you can pair a dumbbell exercise with a machine exercise. That way you're only taking up 1 pair of dumbbells, 1 machine. You can knock out both movements right there in the comfort of the own vicinity of the machine, and then you can move on, right? Again, basic etiquette, being considerate to other people, right? Okay, last 2. Number 7 is talking on the phone. Now, I really dislike when people talk on the phone because you don't know if they're talking to you, they're talking to somebody else, and typically they're talking way too loud, right? And you also look like a crazy person when you're sitting there doing bench press and you're yelling to somebody about today's stock numbers, right? It's just like it's for the most part, I don't understand why people do this at all. I really don't, because again, it goes back to being mediocre in both directions. You're not giving a good conversation to that person. You're not giving all of your attention, and you're also not giving all of your attention to the workout. So pick one. Talk to them before you go in the gym, give them your full attention, then move on to the workout, and then maybe call them afterwards. But don't do both at the same time. That's insane. It really is insane. No conversation is that important. Or if you need to take a call, whatever you're doing, you have some dumbbells, put the dumbbells up, go over to the corner, take the call, finish the call, and then go back to your workout. It's really not that difficult. Okay? Okay. That's number 7. Number 8, the last one, giving unsolicited advice to people. In 98% of cases, this should never happen. One is because you probably don't even know what you're talking about. I'm sorry, but as somebody who is a quote unquote expert in this field or been in this field for a very long time, I know how much there is for me that I still don't know, and things that I have maybe told people in the past that I am currently, or that I was wrong about then. And so it's just like, I know with most people listening to this, you probably know quite a bit about exercise, maybe more than the average person. However, that doesn't give you the right to go up and give advice to some girl on a machine or some dude or whatever, right? Now, if they are blatantly confused and they're whatever, or maybe if they're blatantly about to really hurt themselves, then maybe go up and say, hey, whatever, just ease into the conversation. Like, hey, do you maybe, I think I could maybe help you out. Do you care if I give you a little bit of advice here? Just kind of ease into it and just say, hey, I could maybe help. Do you want that? Once they say yes, then you can help them out. But don't just go up and say, ha, your deadlift's looking pretty bad. That hinge is, you're going to hurt your back. Let me show you real quick. Get out of the way. You do it like that, it's just, you can't do that. You cannot do that. I don't care how much you think you do or don't know. That is never warranted. I do this for a living and I still stay away from giving unsolicited advice like the plague. If people want your help, they will ask, right? It's basically as plain and simple as you can get it, right? Okay, there you go. 8 things to immediately stop doing in the gym. I hope this was helpful. Please take it to heart, write it down, get a tattoo. I don't care. Just please stop doing these things in the gym. All right, that's it for Minisode number 132. Thank you guys as always for listening and for watching. See ya.